You open a tab, then another. You tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. Just 5. You check a message, watch a short video, read a comment thread you don't even care about. An hour disappears. The task is still there, sitting in the background like a silent alarm. And the strange part is this: you know exactly what you're doing. You know you'll regret it later. You know starting now would make your life easier. Yet somehow, your hand moves toward another distraction anyway. This happens so often that many people have accepted a simple explanation. I'm lazy. But what if that's completely wrong? What if procrastination isn't a character flaw at all? What if it's the result of two ancient systems inside your brain fighting a battle you barely notice? And most of the time, one of them wins. Your brain contains structures that evolved millions of years apart. One part wants comfort, safety, and immediate relief. Another part wants planning, discipline, and long-term success. And these two systems don't always agree. The first system is largely driven by the limbic system. The limbic system is old, very old. Its primary job isn't helping you achieve goals. It's helping you survive. It constantly scans for threats, discomfort, uncertainty, and stress. The second system is the prefrontal cortex. This is the newer, more sophisticated part of your brain. It's responsible for planning, reasoning, self-control, and delayed gratification. Whenever you face an important task, these two systems begin negotiating. Imagine you need to write an essay, or study for an exam, or send an email you've been avoiding. Your prefrontal cortex says, "This matters. Let's start." But your limbic system notices something else. The uncertainty, the effort, the possibility of failure, the discomfort, and it responds with a simple instruction: avoid this. Not forever, just for now. That's the trick. Procrastination isn't usually avoiding a task. It's avoiding the emotions attached to the task: stress, boredom, confusion, self-doubt, fear. Your brain discovers that delaying the task provides immediate emotional relief. And relief feels rewarding, even when it creates bigger problems later. The moment you decide not to do the thing, your anxiety drops slightly. Your brain learns from that. It remembers. And next time, avoidance becomes even easier. This is why procrastination can become a habit. Not because you're lazy, because your brain has been trained to escape discomfort. The uncomfortable truth is that procrastination often works, at least temporarily. And that's exactly why it's so difficult to stop. Now things get even stranger. Your brain doesn't experience time the way you think it does. Psychologists have found that many people view their future selves almost like entirely different people. Not consciously, but neurologically. When researchers scanned people's brains while they thought about their future selves, the activity patterns looked surprisingly similar to when they thought about strangers. Think about what that means. The version of you next week, next month, next year. The person who inherits the consequences of today's decisions. Your brain doesn't always treat that person as you. It treats them like someone else. Someone distant. Someone abstract. Someone easy to ignore. So when you're deciding between immediate comfort and future benefits, your brain often makes a predictable choice. Present you gets the reward. Future you gets the bill. And because future you feel psychologically distant, that trade seems acceptable. Until the future arrives. Then suddenly you're the stranger who inherited all the unfinished work. The deadline is tomorrow. The project is incomplete. The stress has multiplied. And now present you is desperately wondering why past you made such terrible decisions. The answer is simple. Past you wasn't thinking about you. Not really. Your brain convinced itself the consequences belong to somebody else. But even that isn't the whole story. Because procrastination has a secret weapon: dopamine. Many people think dopamine creates pleasure. That's only partially true. More importantly, dopamine drives pursuit. It motivates you to seek rewards. and modern technology has become exceptionally good at exploiting this system. Imagine your brain facing two options. Option 1. Spend 3 hours working on a difficult project that may reward you weeks from now. Option 2. Receive immediate stimulation right now. A notification, a video, a meme. A message. A quick hit of novelty. Your dopamine system isn't stupid. It's efficient. And from its perspective, immediate rewards are often more valuable than distant ones. The result? Every distraction becomes psychologically louder than the task you're trying to complete. Not because the distraction matters more, because it arrives sooner. Your brain evolved in environments where immediate opportunities could disappear at any moment. Food, safety, social approval. Immediate rewards were important. The problem is that today's environment floods you with thousands of artificial rewards every day. Each one competing for attention. Each one offering tiny bursts of stimulation. Each one teaching your brain that effort can wait. This is why procrastination often feels automatic. You're not consciously choosing distraction every time. Your reward system is being pulled toward whatever offers the fastest emotional payoff. Not all procrastination looks the same. In fact, there are 3 common patterns hiding beneath it. The first is avoidance. Avoidance procrastinators delay because the task creates negative emotions. The work feels stressful, overwhelming, threatening, so they escape the feeling by escaping the task. The second is perfectionism. This one is harder to recognize. Perfectionists don't delay because they don't care. They delay because they care too much. They want the outcome to be flawless. And because perfection is impossible, starting becomes terrifying. Every unfinished project still contains potential. The moment you begin, reality enters the picture. Mistakes become visible. Imperfections appear. So waiting feels safer. The third type is decision paralysis. Sometimes the problem isn't effort. It's uncertainty. Your brain faces too many choices. Too many possible starting points. Too many ways things could go wrong. Instead of making a decision, it freezes. Not because it can't act, because it can't decide which action is correct. And when the brain becomes overwhelmed by complexity, procrastination often emerges as a default response. Do nothing, delay. Revisit later. Unfortunately, later rarely arrives. Most advice about procrastination focuses on productivity. Work harder. Try harder. Be more disciplined. But if procrastination is fundamentally emotional, then the solution must start there. The first reframe is this: stop asking, how do I finish this? Ask, can I tolerate the first minute? Your brain exaggerates the emotional cost of beginning. The first minute often feels larger than the next 60. When you focus only on starting, resistance shrinks. You're no longer committing to the entire mountain. You're committing to one step. The second reframe: treat your future self as a real person. Research suggests that increasing connection with your future self can improve long-term decision-making. Instead of thinking, I'll deal with it later, imagine a specific version of yourself tomorrow. Visualize their stress, their workload, their reality. Then ask a simple question. Would you intentionally create this problem for someone you cared about? Because that's exactly what you're doing. The third reframe is perhaps the most important. Stop seeing procrastination as a time management problem. See it as an emotion management problem. The next time you procrastinate, ask yourself, what feeling am I trying not to experience right now? Boredom, confusion, fear of failure, fear of success, embarrassment. The answer matters, because once you identify the emotion, the behavior suddenly makes sense. And when behavior makes sense, it becomes easier to change. You stop fighting yourself. You start understanding yourself. And understanding is often where change begins. The most unsettling thing about procrastination isn't that it steals your time. It's that it quietly teaches your brain who is in control. Every time you delay something important, you're casting a vote. Not for the person you want to become, but for the person you already are. and eventually, your life becomes the result of whichever version of you keeps winning.